Hello, everyone. You know what time it is. It's Man United Agenda on a Thursday night. I've been dipping into the papers, so we've plenty to flap our gums on. Hello, everyone, and you're very welcome to Thursday night's Man United Agenda. I've dipped into the lucky bag, and as has become procedure at this stage, we're reviewing the news and media stories that are out today. And I'm joined by, of course, the defensive coach, Yaba. How are we doing, sir?
Yeah, not too bad, man. Not too bad. Long day, just coming from work. I've been checking out the news all day. Saw that Liverpool lost, and it didn't mean anything. But they played youngsters, which is good experience for them. And obviously, I know I'm excited about the agenda items we're going to cover today. How are you, man, bro? Looking sharp. You're showing a bit of chest there, like Magnum PI.
That was unintentional, but it is what it is. You know, when it's out, it's out. Doing grand now. Um, one more day in the office, and then a nice 4.5 day week next week, and then I won't be seen till 2024. But I want to say hello to a few people in the chat: Stephanie Griffin, Big T, Stumpy Candletop, Bart, Reggie, and Matty Bassett. How are we doing? We'll be getting to your comments as the show progresses. I know it was a lively one yesterday, so we are hungry for your opinions on these news stories because this is one of our most interactive shows. So, Mr. B says, Monday, let's see what's on the menu. So you got Potter at the wheel, Sancho Dortmund, Serhu Gorassi, Berbatov critical, and Brown calls for managerial support. Any of those whetting your appetite much?
They're all kind of delicious, especially the Sancho Dortmund one. Oh my god, I don't know where to start. I mean, there's no. Is this in order, or can we just pick and choose which one we jump on?
Well, we can flick on to one if there's one that you really want to get your teeth
Okay,
into first.
I want to start with at the bottom, like Drake. Start from the bottom, and we can rise up. Brown. It's Wes Brown. I didn't think that. Okay, Wes Brown. Here we go.
So I'll read this story and you can take the next one. So on Monday, so former Manchester United defender Wes Brown has called on the club to make signings in January. He wants the team to learn how to deal with injuries, although one solution for that is to sign fit players. If it was up to me, a signing in each position, Brown told OLBG. When the transfer window opens again, the club have to get behind the manager, and I think they will. The United injuries aren't ideal, but there are lots of teams with injuries. You have to handle it. There's not much you can do. At the beginning of the season, it's something you can predict. So management don't think it's too much because everyone's fit and ready to go. You have to get players that possibly don't play week in, week out, up to speed, and that's all you can do as a manager. Players want to play every game, so when you get these opportunities, you have to try and do well to show the manager that you deserve to be in starting 11. It's no secret that injuries have been a huge factor in United's dire form this season. Something has to give, though, and we will soon see if Radcliffe is willing to spend his money in the transfer market. Now, the big caveat there is assuming that Radcliffe manages to complete a deal for any portion of Manchester United.
Very interesting this. So really, I mean, what stands out to me with this one, Rebel, is like he's backing the manager. We have to get behind the manager. He's saying, and talk about the injuries and sort of giving an excuse for the poor form. Because I'm sure any former United player being taught questioned on United right now will be like, crisis. What's going on at the club? What are your views? So it's like heartening to see that he's sort of saying, get behind the manager, the injuries, and going as far as to say that going forward, we need to sort of buy fit players and look into the reason why there's so many injuries. And then he's being fair by saying most clubs get injuries as well. And I don't think he's using it as a total excuse, but I think overall he is backing the management of the club. And maybe he's a Ten Hag man by all accounts, from what I'm sort of reading here, reading between the lines. Do you see the same thing is that sort of standing out to you that he's sort of backing the manager a bit here?
Absolutely, yeah. He's definitely showing support for Eric Ten Hag, and I suppose he's kind of alluding to, I suppose, issues with certain members of the squad and maybe suggesting that they don't do enough to keep themselves in prime selectable condition. Maybe I'm reading too much in between the lines to that, but I definitely sense that there's a dig towards certain members of the player base because, as you know, it was very few times that Wes Brown ever was out injured for any great spell. When he was asked to do a job for us, he came in, played his role, and then he went back to his normal training sessions when the first team was available. But I, what I'm noticing though more than anything, and a lot of this is the caveat of funds being made available from a portion of that transfer or that takeover being done. In the absence of that being completed in January window, and January window is all that we're concerned about right now because that is the window that's available to us. Surely then we could find it difficult to fund such transfers if we don't have, we'll say, that 95 million euros, 95 million pounds that a owners allowed seep in to the football club. Is a lot hanging on a possible takeover being done in time?
Well, how desperate are we? I mean, it all depends on what you want to achieve this season, I imagine. With this current squad and the injuries and the issues we've had, the first sort of half or third of this season hasn't been too good, as we know. We're sitting in sixth place. We've had many losses. We're out of the Champions League. So to sort of salvage anything from this season, you've got to say to yourself, with the players that we have, would that be good enough? And maybe not. Salvaging something would be right now. I'd be happy with Champions League football if we get in the top four again or top five. A lot of people saying top five for some reason. I don't know the story behind that, but apparently you can get Champions League by coming fifth. So he's saying here it's no secret. Um, it's no secret that injuries have been a huge factor in United's dire form this season. So he's obviously addressing the form. Something has to give. So in response now, I was mix up with Brown. He's saying, though we will soon see Ratcliffe is willing to spend his money in the transfer market. So maybe, when you're hearing guys talk like this, he's sort of giving an indication here that maybe this will happen soon. And we're none the wiser, but he's around the club. He's a legend of the club. So he might know something. Maybe he's let something slip here that there will be money available in January. But if there is, Rebel, I do think we need to sort of have a few additions to the club based on the injuries, based on the form that we've got at the moment, which is not going to be good enough, and based on salvaging something which will be equal to what we had last year. Anything less, it would be seen as disappointment. So it's about a repair job, a quick repair job, getting a couple of players in that can make that impact. So sort of make us maybe 10% better, which would maybe be good enough with what everything's going on in the league to get fourth place. Because you have to remember Newcastle, Chelsea, Spurs, all these other clubs fighting for that fourth place maybe, they're all having inconsistent form. They're all having injuries. I mean, Spurs were running the league at one point. They've gone like 5-6 weeks without a win until last week. So everyone's got Newcastle have been drained and be battered from playing in the Champions League, and they must be disheartened after what happened yesterday. They were 1-0 up with a chance to go through, and now all their efforts have gone for nothing. They ended up bottom like us, So the league, I wouldn't say to anyone who's saying that it's over. It's the desperate thing. I would say maybe we just need to get a couple of good signings in this window that are going to help us give that 10% better, and then with the players coming back as well, that might be enough to get us to what we need, which maybe would be top four ideally, if that's the case. So yeah, you agree with Brown here? I mean, what you were saying earlier, Brown's just a squad player. He was a squad player. He did have a lot of injuries, didn't he?
Well, I suppose what I always remember is when we were short on personnel, he was usually there to play his couple of games, and once our main men came back, he went back to the bench. Or he was never kind of hiding and shrieking from his duty. Now, I do have some interesting tidbits regarding takeover in January, but I'm going to keep that when we talk about Mr. Potter. But I do want to go into one comment before you go into the main comments on Monday, and that is DK Wilson and about players faking injuries so they don't have to face Liverpool. That's a rumour that's going around. And it kind of ties into what Wes is saying about players not being fit. If there is players that are shirking from the challenge of playing Liverpool at Anfield, do they need to be immediately told your future's no longer here.
It's just a rumor. I just think it's a banter thing. A lot of banter flies around, doesn't it? Saying, you bottled it. For example, Arsenal fans are calling us bottlers now after what they did last season. 93% of the league on top of the league, and they end up bottling it when they had an opportunity to win it. And so that bottle term is being sort of thrown at us right now. And I don't think it sticks. We're not bottlers like that. And if you're coming to the players, whether they're bottling it because they're not performing or not turning up, I'm not going to sort of accept that just yet. It's just an accusation. You can't prove it. Could you go in court and say you feigned injury to get out of this Liverpool game? I don't see that being the case. I think players, to be honest, would be up for going to Anfield. If you speak to most professional players, the best place they want to go and play is Anfield. And if you're a Man United fan or you've got anything about you being a Man United supporter or fan or player, you want to go to Anfield and become a ledge by scoring the winning goal there or being part of a performance that won. I had a look at the team lineup for the last team that won at Anfield, and it's very interesting. It was like the only player that remains in the squad today from that lineup is last time we won at Anfield. The only player that remains in our squad today from that lineup is
Is it Harry Maguire?
no.
The last time we won at Anfield, and there's one player in the squad.
Who remains today in that starting lineup?
Why don't you hit some comments while I'm thinking?
Okay, all right. Let's get to some comments here. Magnum PI, not a good flex. Rebel, that's from Black Belt. How you doing, Black Belt? Hope you're doing well. Big up to Bart as well. He says signing is not easy. The squad is full of players that others don't want, and homegrown quota is an issue as well. If you get rid of Aaron, Harry, and McTominay as well. Big up Bart. Big up Matthew Bassett. How you doing, bro? How you doing? So there's a story about overhauling the medical department because of the amount of injuries to players and the level of injuries that they've got as well. So yeah, we touched on that a bit yesterday, and that's interesting. I like the sound of that to sort of get all that sorted and
Luke
covering
Shaw,
that.
by chance?
Luke Shaw, I think his injury recently was to do with his broken leg a couple of years ago. He's still got.
No, the
Oh,
United.
sorry, no, not Luke Shaw. So, you're throwing out answers. Think about it. Well,
Well,
it's
the other one,
very close
Tom
home with this
Heaton.
comment. Martial, there he is. It's Martial, last player in the squad. Martial should be sold, but are there really any takers? And that would offer United a decent sum. Remember, but Martial is going to be going for free, I think, at the end of the season. So we can.
Yeah,
Just
it was confirmed that his contract will not be extended for the option, so therefore he's now free to talk to European clubs in January.
That's thank you, Rebel, and from Regigi's dashed that in as well. DK Wilson's, how you doing? Some players faking injuries, as we're talking about, so they don't have to play against Liverpool. It's a rumour going around. Obviously, we're just touching on it now. Big up Stephanie Griffiths, and thank you, Stephanie. Stephanie's really good, man. Every time she comes in, she's always trying to get everyone to press up the like button. She knows what it's like for us. Thank you, Stephanie. We do appreciate that. Bart saying here, Brown is currently one of the ex-players in the lounges during match days. If I'm not mistaken, I remember seeing him featuring a short clip on the padded seat. Great player he was, I think, Brown. Something slowing up. Big up to Moz. He said Moz hits thumbs, so it gets done, folks. Big up to Moz. How you doing, man? Arsenal fan. You must be loving life right now. We are deserve better saying the delay is so Jim Boy doesn't have to spend. And Glazers 2.0. Do not trust this man. Big up. We deserve better. There's some food for thought. Black Bolt saying here the club is a mess. When will the takeover be completed? Smoke and mirrors. He's sort of suspicious as well. I'm not touching on the Potter comments just yet. We're talking about injuries and what Brown's saying. Matthew Bassett saying England's lost the 5th place for the Champions League because Man United and Newcastle went out of Europe entirely. So there you go. That's out the window now. And just running down now, we deserve better again, saying he's a very versatile squad player at centre back and right back. We liked Wes at the club. Yeah, man. He was part of the 2008 Champions League side, wasn't he? As well. He played a lot that season. Big up DK Wilson. And yeah, thank you. Thank you, guys. All of you. I disagree. I think Shaw, Maguire and Bruno all took tactical yellows to injuries to avoid the Liverpool game. And yes, you're right, Black Belt. It was Martial. Just added, we had Herrera and Fellaini in that side. Matic and Fellaini. We had Rooney up front, Lingard as well, with Martial, Mata, and Smalling in defence as well. So there you go. That was a team, the last team to go to Anfield and get a win. And yeah, these guys turned up on the day, and they weren't late. And what do you think we should do for people who are late, guys? Do you think, like, obviously Ten Hag's been strict lately and telling people off for punctuality and that sort of thing. Do you think we should be the same on the Man United agenda? Let's ask this guy. He's going to be saying everyone say hi to Mr. B, and everyone ask him why is he late. But it's great to have him.
My house is upside down at the moment, man. I'm doing a bit of pre-Christmas cleaning. So yeah, my house is a bit of a mess. But apologies for being late. But thanks for not removing me from the studio.
Mr.
Guys,
B.
in the comments, just quickly, what punishment should we hand out to Mr. B, which has to be performed today on today's show? So if you could think of a forfeit or something to Mr. B for his lateness, a fine or
broccoli.
Yeah,
broccoli.
I'll take a fine. I'll take a fine. I'll take the fine.
Suggestions in the comments, please, guys. Mr. B, he's been late. What do you suggest we get him to do? Let's see what happens. All right, so yeah, going back to you, Rebel.
Okay, Mr. B, we just covered Wes Brown calling for support for Erik ten Hag, so we are going a bit of a pick and mix, so you can choose the next topic. Potter at the wheel, Sancho Dortmund, the latest striker that we've been linked with, or Berbatov's critique.
Do Berbatov. Do Berbatov.
Berbat. So
right, keep them coming, guys. Keep them coming. These are good. These are brilliant. We will pick one at the end of the show.
Monday, this is your one.
All right, guys, this is Berbatov. I'm going to read this one out. Reflecting on recent results, Berbatov told Betfair, it's like what it's. I felt like SHIT watching Bournemouth game. United won against Chelsea, and then they played Bournemouth at Old Trafford. With all due respect to Bournemouth, United need to win these games like this. I was watching the game, and I felt like United didn't have an answer to the way Bournemouth were playing. Then they had to Bayern Munich and lost the game as well. Now they go to Liverpool. Even with the injury list, losing games means Erik ten Hag needs to answer questions. Wow, I repeat that. So now they go to Liverpool, says Berbatov. Even with this injury list, losing games means Erik ten Hag needs to answer questions. Wow. You are doubting yourself, and you're now playing one of the biggest rivals. You're in a type of form that you don't want to be in when you play Liverpool. That's the problem. Man United face Liverpool in the Premier League this Sunday in a crucial fixture against Klopp's Premier League leaders. And Berbatov still has hope of a result despite their inconsistent form. So it's not all bad. He says, of course there's hope. There's always hope, especially when it's a derby. United are coming off the back of 2 defeats, but when it's a derby, expect the boys to understand what this game is about. Even though they lost the previous 2 games, United still have to believe they can beat Liverpool on Sunday. It doesn't matter how hard it is, the chance is there. Liverpool are the favourites on paper based on the results, but in games like this, the hope is always there, as long as you don't make the stupid mistakes. That's Berbatov. He sort of started off, I thought he was going to get worse. He started off bad, but he sort of came back with a bit of encouragement, saying it's a derby game. We have to give it our all. Don't make stupid mistakes, and let's turn up the heat.
Mr. B, the one thing that's not in the article that he also did say in that interview with Betfred is that Manchester United Football Club is all about European nights, and that it is an embarrassment for Manchester United Football Club not to be involved in Europe at this stage of the season. So your thoughts on what Mr. Berbatov has said in the article and obviously in the bit that we didn't have?
Everybody's getting paid to talk about Man United at the moment. It's a free for all for everybody. Everybody who's played, ex-players, grannies are all getting interviewed, and we are the worst Man United since we were Newton Heath. So look, unless Ten Hag starts winning, there's going to be pressure on him. I like Berbatov. I don't think he went in too hard on the comment, and he's right. Look, we've all watched the games, and we've all felt like shit. on Monday. You know what I mean? So I don't think he's lying. I don't think he's done it for clicks. It sounds like he's speaking from the heart. So I don't have a problem with what he said. I think a lot of it is true. Um, I know you lot were talking about just before I came on about players bottling it, feigning injury for the game, blah blah blah. Um, I would like to think not, although I do think Bruno did a darkers so that he wasn't playing. Um, there's a lot of things I'm worried about. Um, but look, we'll get into those as the evening's going. But I don't have a problem with what Berbatov said. I like Berbatov.
Very good, very good. Monday, he's saying it feels like SH1T watching the club at the moment after the game against Bournemouth. Obviously, we've felt a couple of lows in the last two games, and that probably resonates with a lot of United fans at the moment in their feeling in terms of results on pitch, don't you think?
Yeah, big time. I mean, we don't feel good as a channel, and as you guys watching us, we will support the channel as well, supporting Man United. It can't be easy for any of us, and our heart goes out to all of you guys who are suffering right now um, with what we're seeing on the football pitch and in our club. Honestly, it's hard for us. It's hard for us all. We have to take a lot of stick and grit our teeth, but um, we can sort of point fingers at the manager, the players. We can talk about the injuries. And it sounds like we're making excuses, but we're here. We listen to everyone. What everyone has to say. We all have to contribute towards this and find out what the real issue is. I think Berbatov is a great player. He was a really talented player, as the guys are saying in the comments right now. And he doesn't beat around the bush. What he's saying here, what is clear. I mean, I felt like shit watch the club lose to Bournemouth. And he's saying that like he's been at Spurs, he's been at Leverkusen, been to the Champions League final with Leverkusen, but he sees himself as a Man United player. It's a bit like Robin van Persie, all that time at Arsenal, and he talks about United first, you know. So big up to Berbatov for this because he's been at other big clubs as well, but he's sort of backing us and saying, "I feel like shit watching Bournemouth at the Bournemouth game." Wow. But the one thing that worried me here is that like he's saying. Losing games means Eric Ten Hag needs to answer questions. And doesn't Eric Ten Hag answer the questions after the game? Doesn't he give press conferences and sort of explain, or is he straining for explaining, or doesn't Berbatov accept it? I mean, because the losses are unacceptable, he's basically saying, even though we're going through a transition, we've lost 2 in a row, we've lost maybe 6, 7, 8 games this season, too many for a club of our stature. Now, it's easy for players coming from a great era to say, this is terrible, this isn't good enough. But I would appreciate a bit more if the players did sort of, rather than say that, just say, we understand we're going through a transition at the moment. Hopefully everyone can get behind the club and back them because this is not acceptable to our standards. I luckily saved myself in the second half of this paragraph by saying we've got to back the players and we can actually win this game. But I think when you say things like this, if you're a journalist, the headline could be Eric Ten Hag needs to answer questions from Berbatov, rather than, yes, there's hope. So there's 2 headlines you can make with this. Eric Ten Hag has to answer questions from Berbatov, or he could say, of course, there's hope. There's always hope for Man United to come better. Do you see what I mean? So as journalists, as we're sort of reporting Man United, we have to give a more balanced view of what his article actually says. So I think he's been fair. And I can't criticize him for it because he's been honest, fair, and we have to really improve. But imagine having to improve against Liverpool, who are top of the league, flying high, and at their ground as well. And they whooped us 5-0. Remember that, Mr. B? We went up to Old Trafford, and they also beat us last time 7-0 at Anfield. So it's going to be tough. Now, Rebel, I mean, I've laid it on the line there. We're going to Anfield with 2 defeats in a row. Berbatov says up to the manager to sort this out. Liverpool are flying high at the top of the league. They played all the youngsters today, so there's no excuse about them being tired. I mean, do we hope or do we wish?
Well, we can wish upon a star, but tomorrow, of course, is the preview show, so I'm not going to contaminate the topic, and I'm going to leave that marinade in the chat. But going from one striker to another striker, because obviously there's a feeling that we're lacking in goals, and we're linked with a move that a number of Premier League clubs are chasing. So Manchester United are reportedly opening talks with striker Serhu Garassi, and Musa Sissoko, former footballer, I think, is his agent. The Red Devils face competition from the likes of Borussia Dortmund and Newcastle in pursuit of the prolific frontman, who is heavily tipped with an exit from Stuttgart in January. Having already notched a remarkable 18 goals and 2 assists in just 14 appearances for the Bundesliga outfit, they could come to regret including a £15 million release clause in his contract terms. United are seemingly trying to poke the nose in front of their rivals in the race for the 27-year-old and have spoken to his agent to try and hash out an agreement for a deal. Next board will open dialogue with Guirassy directly in the hopes of sealing personal terms, making the transfer as swift as possible when window opens. Speculation suggests that Eric Ten Hag is keen to ease the goal scoring burden on young striker Rasmus Højlund, who, despite having netted 5 times in Champions League, is yet to get off the mark in his first 12 games for Premier League. So basically a senior figure to mentor him. Is that what we're looking at here, Mr. B?
Yeah. 100% Rasmus hasn't hit the ground running, especially in the Premier League. And we just told him running around. We just told him, being flogged to death. So yeah, I'm all for somebody else coming in. My worry, I'm not worldly in regards to names of footballers. I'm also not ignorant to names of footballers. I've never heard of this guy. His goals tally last season. What did he hit? I'm sure he's 1 in 2, or just under 1 in 2. He's had a good season this season, but is this somebody who we're buying who's going for a purple patch? Is his goals form proven? Has he done what Rashford did last season, flattered to deceive, and has gone back to being his normal goal shy self? This is what I'm worried about. So, the buyout. Did you say what the buyout was in here? What was the contract buyout in here? Sorry, Red Bull.
£15 million.
Oh Jesus! If we can't get £15 million, fine, but you get what you pay for. This is another thing that I'm worried about. £15 million for a striker means, are you going to be getting a McTominay level striker? Ability wise, I have no problem with Hart, but right now we need somebody who can bang the ball and put the ball in the back of the net. So I'm not 100% sure about this guy. I'm normally quite positive. Maybe it's just the whole way the club's going at the moment. I need some OMONDI vibes, man. So talk to me about Guirassy OMONDI and sell him to me.
All right, I'm not going to sell him. I'm just going to be honest, do a Berbatov to be honest about this. So this guy is 26, 27 years old. He's been in Bundesliga or in around there for a while now. He came from France. He was originally, he's Ghanaian, but he's playing for Guinea now, which is a bit strange. I don't understand that. But so at 20 years old, he showed physicality as a youngster in France. At 20-year-old, he came to the Bundesliga and had a bit of a Rasmus Højlund sort of spell where he scored like 2 or 3 goals in a couple of seasons, wasn't good enough. So he's been sent out on loan and to learn his trade, and he's sort of gone from place to place, and he's returned last year to save Stuttgart from relegation. He scored, I think, 9 goals in 19 games or something, 1 in 2, that sort of thing. And this season, I mean, he's got off to a flyer. Now, I've seen him because obviously I'm watching Kane in the Bundesliga. Kane's flying high, but this guy's been sort of thereabouts with him or maybe above him with the goals. He's just non-stop scoring for Stuttgart right now, and the fans are loving him. But I'm looking at the goals. He's getting on the end. He's 6'2" for starters. He's quick, and his finishing looks good if you just to watch YouTube highlights. But you need to watch whole games to see what else he can bring to the game. Because most of his goals where he's been played in and fed. So he's like in the box, it's just different finishing, dinking the keeper, slotting it past the keeper, being played in, making good runs, that sort of thing. And it shows that the Stuttgart are playing a style of football which he's getting on the end of things, which is good for them. But you have to remember the factor here is that he's playing in the Bundesliga at 26 years old. He's only now, like you said, Mr. B, finding a purple patch. And I don't think that's enough to say, oh, you're hot, we've signed you. Where have you been? Where's this quality been previously? Do you understand what I'm saying? How do you know you can transfer that to the Premier League? I used to think, well, maybe there isn't that much of a gap. But I think with strikers, you have to really consider that. He would be up against it in the Premier League. And how does his style, it's not just about him scoring goals, does his style of play suit what we need as a player, need for our style of play? So there's a difference, like you say, Mr. B, you were saying the other day, there's a difference between Martial and Haaland. The way Haaland's sort of in the box, he's trying to get the end of things, and but Martial's got good hold-up play, comes deep, tries to help with the build-up. Different players. You need so this guy is more like getting on the end of things. You don't see, I haven't seen enough of him with his hold-up play, what's his ability like that, you know. He could have a touch like Lukaku for all we know. Do you understand what I'm saying? So I think what's important is to, rather than rush into this, let's do our homework. Let's watch a whole game of Stuttgart and see how he plays, rather than getting the end of things where the team are set up to feed him and tactically playing well. That happens sometimes. You remember Jovic, when he was playing in Germany, he got a move to Real Madrid based on his goals that he was scoring. And then he didn't get a look in after that. It depends on the system of play, how someone can look good. And I'm not sure about this guy just yet. There's nothing here to say it's a must. But for 15 million, sometimes you can't go wrong. But I just don't think you should just buy someone based on the fact because he's scoring a whirl of goals in a system maybe that could be suited to him in a league that was completely different to what we're dealing with. So I would want to, like I say, just clarify, I want to see a striker of a similar mold of what we actually need. Someone who can come deep, hold up the ball, and get on the end of things. All I see from him is getting on the end of things. I don't see the other side of his game as yet.
Thanks very much, Monday. So you're urging caution, basically, not only in the fact that we don't see a tangible history of goal scoring from him, but the fact that it doesn't necessarily mean that goal scoring prowess will translate from the Bundesliga to Premier League football. Would that sum up what you're saying correctly?
Yeah, totally, 100%.
I do have one just special slide I want to bring up because it just came out just there a minute ago. It's a congratulations, and it's just uploading here to our system to the United women who have maintained their perfect Conti Cup run after a 3-1 victory over Leicester City women today.
Congratulations, girls. You're representing.
I'm gonna say they are, aren't they? Bloody hell.
Mr. B, could we actually have our only cup coming from the women, but the way things are going?
Yes, I don't watch women's football, so as long as I don't watch it. But listen, if they're winning games, great. I won't see them winning games, but yeah, they need to be represented somewhere. I don't care if it's United's dogs team at the moment. As long as they're wearing United shirts and they're winning, it'll be all good, man.
Yes, indeed. Now, Mr. B, this one is a bit of a tough one. It's going to be on Mr. Jadon Sancho and his future. He thought he might have an escape hatch back to Dortmund, but today's news doesn't come as a welcome one. And Monday, you might take this one for me.
Right, so big up, Rebel. Yeah, despite various rumours linking Man United winger Sancho with a move back to Dortmund, it would seem the interest in the interest the Bundesliga side have in their former player has been exaggerated. The 23-year-old attacker has been linked with a plethora, that's one of your favourite words, isn't it, of different clubs, including Juve, Barcelona, and a few clubs in Saudi as well. However, many have felt that Dortmund would be favourites to land the exiled winger, and the German side are reportedly offering Donnell Malin in exchange to sweeten the deal. However, in a new development, the director, Sebastian Kell, who used to be a great defensive midfielder for Dortmund, has put a massive spanner in the works for any fans hoping for a Sancho return to their stadium. According to Sky Deutschland, the Bundesliga side's official made it clear that they are not in talks with Manchester United for any sort of exchange deal involving Malin. Therefore, ruling out the arrival using that very specific formula. In fact, Kell was even blunter, directly stating, at the moment, there is no exchange deal discussed or any interest in the player. Boom. he told it straight. This links in with the information relayed here in September that despite Sancho's discipline problems at United, Germans have no interest in bringing back the player.
Mr. B, talk to me.
I don't blame them for not wanting him. he's showing no level of professionalism at all. I know just Jadon Sancho's worth money, so they're gonna want to recoup some sort of fee. They need to get him out in January. They need to get him out of the club in January. Whether he's staying because he feels that Ten Hag is going to get the sack. Well, if that's the case, then you contribute to him getting the sack. So unless football fans are fickle, if he gets a sack and Jadon Sancho comes back and plays, I'm gonna hate him. I'm gonna hate him. I'll make that perfectly clear. I'm not gonna say I'm gonna hate him forever, because he might put in performances that we didn't even know he was capable of. But if he's been putting in the same shower of shit that he's been putting in, then I'll hate him more than I hate some of the other players at the club. So nobody wants him. Nobody wants him, and I'm not even sure it's about the money. You know what? He's on 350. So look, typical Man United. Whoever we loan out, we're going to be paying them somebody else's wages. If we had done the deal properly, it's two players' wages that he's paying. So look, we'll lose out again as usual. He's a good player. He's a talented player. Whether or not we've heard the full story on what's happened on that situation. Maybe it'll come out in a book in 30 years, 25 years when he retires. Might be 5 years when he retires, the rate that he's going. But yeah, look, I don't think anybody's going to take Jadon. I think we're going to be stuck with him.
Question for you, Mr. B, from Mr. T. Mr. B, says Mr. T. Why is Sancho getting hate for telling the truth?
Okay, so there's ways of doing things, and the fact that he may well feel that's what happened, but you still want to be a professional footballer. Have some pride in yourself. Right? He's going to sit down there and rot for 6 months. All he's done is train and eat sandwiches, watching the kids play football. That makes no sense to me. Yeah, I understand he's still getting whatever he's getting. He's 1.5 mil a month, which probably softens the blow of not playing when you see all those notes in your bank account. But you're a footballer, man. You're a footballer. And what's he gonna do? Is he gonna go somewhere else and when he scores for them, kiss the badge? Not feeling it.
Yes, indeed. On Monday, obviously, he's a player that's had a lot of troubled outbursts as of late. And last season, the club tried to do right by him. They sent him to Germany to try and get his mentality right, get him on his football, because obviously when he's on the pitch and he's in form and he's dialed in, he's quite something. He's a spectacle to watch. But it does seem that his situation is one of his own making, and knowing the type of person that Eric Ten Hag is, you'd imagine that he's probably refusing advice from his agent, from his peers around him, because they would all have been directing him to kind of kiss the ring and repatriate himself, essentially, would they not?
Yeah, they would. I don't know what advice he's getting, but surely, I mean, like you said, the Euros is next season. Sorry, at the end of in the summer, isn't it? The Euros. It's a big tournament. Jadon Sancho at his age, you should be fighting for a contention. He should be. If everything went well and he put his head down, he could be one of these guys in the squad. He was in the squad for the last Euros. If you recall, he missed a penalty, didn't he, in the final? And then you're thinking, well, he should be gunning for every 2 years, being an international player, because he's got the quality to do it and fight to get into this really good England side. And that should be enough motivation for him to be playing football, whether it's at Man United or whatever. Go and play some football so you can be in contention. So whoever's advising him is not doing a good job, because if he finds a club in January, then he's got to get some form to be considered, and he doesn't want to end up in Saudi Arabia or somewhere like that, because then it's unlikely, I think, that he's going to get in. I think he needs to be playing in the Premiership or a top league to even be considered. And I remember Gascoigne. Now, Gascoigne was a great player, one of England's better midfielders of all time, I'd say. I can't think of many better players than Gascoigne. Gascoigne only played in one World Cup in 1990. And when he played in 1990, coming out crying, got to the semi-final, the nation loved him. He must have thought, don't worry, 1992 we got the Euros. In 1994 we got the World Cup in USA. In 1996 there's another Euros. But in 1998 I'll be like nearly 30, and I've got the World Cup again in France. You know, he didn't make it. He made the 96 Euros, showed what he had, but he didn't make another World Cup. So I would say this is a message to Jadon Sancho. You're wasting your career, young man. You could be playing on the world stage for England, part of a great England generation of players here. Instead, you're making that face there because even we deserve better. Says, couldn't we got a nicer picture of Sancho? Look at the frown lines. Look at it. We want to see smile lines, but in this shirt, you got a frown line. And when you came to Man United, the promo was, "I love this club." But what did he say? Something like, "I'm so happy to be here. I'm a Man United fan." What did he say, Mr. B? I don't know if you remember.
I have no idea what he said.
Well,
No, I don't remember what he said to you.
Saying, "Yes, this is my club," or "I'm here," or something. Big statement. So I'm glad Dortmund have turned him down. They put the feelers out, got some good money for him, but also knew that he's unprofessional. And Dortmund aren't a club. Dortmund, similar to Ajax, they usually sell players, unless their name's Royce. They usually sell their best players by the time they're 23, 24 and bring other players in. They've already got the young Gittins guy from Arsenal. I used to play for Arsenal and Chelsea. He's causing a storm out there. He's young winger, English guy as well. They don't need him. You know, they've got cover already. They got Malin in. They're not going to swap him. Malin, he's doing well. I watched him yesterday. This is Dortmund, who finished top of the Champions League group of death with AC Milan, Newcastle, and PSG. And that's saying something about the way they do their business, the way they run as a club, you know, because they've come from Haaland, Sancho, Bellingham, and now they just topped their group after sending all of those players. Imagine that being Man United with the caliber of Sancho, Bellingham, and Haaland, losing players like that and still being top of their group. That speaks volumes about where they're at and how they run compared to us.
On Monday, do you want to hit some comments before we get on to the main event? We're just 40 minutes in, so we have a good solid 20 minutes to talk about Potter, but comments first.
Most certainly. Big up Stephanie Griffiths. Is Sancho going to Dortmund with Ten Hag as his new manager? What's the odds of Ivan Toney allegedly as well? Posing some questions there. Bart, the serious fan, says Kel was Klopp's captain at Dortmund as well. Big shout. Good shout there. Big T saying here, I can propose the agenda switch to covering the ladies' teams until the circus with the men's team is over. That's from Big T. DK Wilson. Why would Dortmund want him when he seems like he's had the same problems there than he has here? Good question. Reggie saying Sancho's valuation is dropping by the minute or the hour, the day. Bart saying here, will Sancho outlast Ten Hag? Donny needs to leave as well. How much can you get for the pair of them? 5 million. Big T saying, Mr. B, why is Sancho getting hate for telling the truth? We touched on that. Mr. B responded. Andrew Williams saying here, Mason coming back will burn. So much goodwill. These players are too savvy to fall for things like this as well. We don't talk about Mason Greenwood much, but yeah, he's obviously still in our books. Bart is saying here, 350 grand a week is a big wage that could fund 4 players. UK Exchange saying Sancho is getting hate because of the lack of effort in training, and the manager gave him time off, and Sancho came back worse. That's fair enough. Good evening to Zoe Media House as well. She getting a lot of love in the comments. We deserve better saying here, Sancho, Ronaldo, and Varane all last Ollie's signings. His last same season, all showing the exit door. Coincidence? Big T saying here, Mr. B, if your boss said something publicly about you that you believe to be untrue, would you put your version of events out there? You're entitled to defend yourself regardless of the job, surely. Mr. B, I mean, Big T's coming here. We're asking you. Give me a good scenario.
I get what you're saying, Big T. I'm not going to answer you how I really want to answer you for them to shut down the channel and FIFA to get in trouble. But there's ways of doing things, and I don't think a social media post that he kept up there for a week that had 70 million, not 70 million views. Yeah, he knew what he was doing. So I still think he's in it for the long game. I still think he thinks he's going to outlast Ten Hag. So I actually think that this next one's going to be a loan when he goes. I actually think it's going to be a short-term loan, and then he'll have the option to come back and be kissing the badge. I don't think he's going to get sold permanently in the summer, in January.
Okay, there's loads of comments. So I'm just going to run through them because a couple of questions for you as well, Rebel. Moss is saying here, Gaza, great ranger. We promote mental health, mental well-being, don't we? We should be encouraging young players to speak out more or less. So there's a good discussion here from Big T. Jadon
We're
Sancho.
suffering from mental health watching them young players.
That kiss
Spoiled
of the
bitches.
teeth.
Sorry.
Stroops. No, it's okay. It's good. We need something good. We need to bump heads on the show sometimes as well. UK Strange saying here, Jadon Sancho put out a post on social media, then deleted it, and then deleted his Instagram account as well. We deserve better, saying here, Sancho doesn't have a best friend called Five Bellies. That's Gaza, isn't it? Andrew Williams saying, not enough hunger on Monday. He will never be good enough. Football is played in the head. Another mental midget. So Andrew, Big G is going to cuss you for this because you need to be more sensitive about people's well-being. Bart is saying here, Byron Gittens, Monday. Yeah, that's the young man who's gone in Germany and playing really well. Bring back Dan James over Sancho's attitude. Absolutely abysmal. That's from Stephanie Griffiths. Some of us might agree with that. Rebel, this view, Rebel. Big T saying, Rebel, why did we choose that Sancho picture? How are we joining the media and pushing agendas? I know there are happier pictures out there. Rebel, over to you.
Yeah, there's absolutely happier pictures out there, but I felt that picture was representative of the way his football career has gone. It's a very disappointing, I suppose, wasted talent that is Jadon Sancho, and the fact that his football career has degraded to a point where teams are not even willing to take a shot at him. That picture represents where his football career is, and that's the reason why we chose it. Not a slight at Jadon Sancho. He's an extremely gifted player, but that picture tells the story of his football career as it sits presently.
Couple more before we go over to the host, the chairman. Back to you, Rebel. I don't think it's Sancho's fault, says Zone Media House, but I'm backing the manager. Big T again. Would Dortmund want Sancho back if he was that bad? If he wasn't bad, then why did the manager have? Why did they have a manager that could manage him? Okay, so there you go. He played well under a manager that managed all the situation with him. Loan him to Aberdeen, get him playing in the North Sea wind. Oh God, that'd be raw. Andrew Williams again is saying it's not about mental health; it's about being smart enough to adapt your game. Jadon has never shown he can do that. No football IQ, and apparently we're getting updates here from the Europa League, something we're not even in either. And what happened to Mason Mount? Has he just faded into the background? We ask a lot of questions, don't they? Malice here went missing. Mason
He's
Mount
injured at the moment.
missing. Donny van der Beek. Okay, well, there you go. Over to you, Rebel.
We are now coming on to the main event of the evening, and we have been shared a verse from John Lee. He's very active in commenting on Man United Agenda Twitter. He says, crooner material. And so there's an interesting rumour. It's causing some outbursts and humour. Ten Hag gets the bin, Potter comes in, a verse from a Las Vegas crooner. So, obviously a very gifted poet, even though we didn't know it.
That's a rhymes. That rhymes.
Oh, listen.
I see that. Well done, Rebel.
But it is
Very
time to
good.
go centre stage. And I want to preface this article by saying this is obviously further attempts at the media to establish that they know the inner workings of what's going on in this takeover bid. And I've said it for quite some time now that even though they might get information on certain activities within a dressing room, because players will leak what's going on there, they may get some information on transfer dealings because agents want to say, look, this team is coming in. We're trying to get Liverpool or Real Madrid or whoever to come in and create a bidding war. That information comes out. But given the track record with the way they've said it's going to happen this day, that day, and the other day, I think it's fair to say that the media in this case have really met the legislative brick wall that is a non-disclosure agreement. But it is a story that Sky pushed out there today, and it does surround Graham Potter apparently being favoured by Ineos. So on Monday, would you mind one last time reading the article?
First of all, Stephanie Griffiths saying poetry in motion, Rebel. Reports have suggested that Potter is in the running to take over from Erik ten Hag at Man United, with the Red Devils in crisis after the disastrous start to the season. Tuesday's defeat to Bayern Munich, United's 12th in all competitions, saw them crash out of the Champions League, and the performance in Group A represented the club's worst campaign since the competition was reformatted in 1992. Potter is favourite with many bookies to succeed Ten Hag at Old Trafford and would appear to have admirers within Ineos. The company chairman by Jim Ratcliffe that is on the cusp of buying a 25% stake in Manchester United Football Club. Indeed, Potter is one of the names in the frame to take over at Nice, also owned by Ineos and Ratcliffe, prior to Francesco's Filioli appointment in June. Results may ultimately dictate whether or not United have a change of heart on Ten Hag, but he has been so far backed to turn around the club's fortunes after years of underachievement. Off-field issues have dogged Man United with their activities in the transfer market over recent years, particular bone of contention with many supporters, though there were signs of on-field improvement last year as the club ended a 6-year trophy drought by winning the League Cup. Potter's resume. Oh God, I can't, my lips. Resume, sorry. Meanwhile, included a highly successful 3.5-year spell at Brighton, which laid the foundations for the club's upward trajectory. My lips. Trajectory. and spells at Swansea City and Östersund, whom he took from Sweden's fourth tier to competing in the 2017-18 Europa League, famously beating Arsenal 2-1 at the Emirates Stadium along the way. Oh dear.
Rebel, I've come to the conclusion that your notes are a bit too long for a Monday. You've got words like it and
Resume.
my, and he's just
Oh dear.
Oh wow.
Where's my lip seal?
Maybe I should give you the poetry instead.
yeah. Keep it short. Oh dear.
Mr. B, let's not get it twisted. This seems to be a bit of a pie in the sky story. Now, obviously, this is a paper review show. We are looking at what the tabloids and the media are pushing out there concerning our club, and this is the story that seems to be trending in the social media sphere. It is a bit of a hogwash, though, isn't it?
Let's hope so. Because we're going to sack Ten Hag, who won us a trophy, who hasn't handled maybe certain things as good as he could do, and he's picking certain players who will get him the sack. You don't know my opinions on that. I really hope that this is it is media get older stories and they just push them. They didn't want us to get Ten Hag. They wanted us to get Poch. When we didn't get Poch, Ten Hag was winning games. We won a trophy. They couldn't say nothing. But the knives had already been sharpened for that time when his level drops off. Pochettino has got a squad that cost 1 billion. Yeah, that's what they spent. He's now said he needs to buy players. Has there been an uproar? Has there been this big media outpouring saying that he should be sacked and he should be blah blah blah? No. So listen, once they put Man United's name to anything, it sells. So Graham Potter, I can't believe he would take the job. Of course he would take the job. But what are his we want winners at the club. He's won nothing. Sorry, did he win something in Sweden? I think I won something as a youth player. Does that make me a winner? Does that make me a top footballer? So, I don't think he has anything. And is this whole pushing the British thing? They're saying that he wants to buy British. So what, he's going to get rid of all the better players and buy bloody McTominays and Maguires? Yeah, that's what we're going to have in our team. 11 of them. And then they're going to be run by Potter, who's won nothing. I think it's all trash. I hope it is. I hope it is. You know, they say there's no smoke without fire, but I think somebody just thrown a match in the corner, man, to divert what's really going on. I don't know what the diversion is. I'm hoping it's a really big one that hits us, pow, just like that. You know, so yeah, I think it's a media pushing thing, to be fair. On Monday you're stroking your beard like Father Christmas.
Before you come to Monday, I want to ask him, is this story a bit like when the kids arrive for the sorting hat at Hogwarts and they're saying, Avada Kedavra, slithering, off you go, because it seems to have the same level of fantasy to it as the Harry Potter movies.
Yeah, look, let me just firstly say there's a lot of young managers coming through, and he's done a good job at Brighton. But the reason I think he done a good job at Brighton is because the setup there was perfect. It was really good. That every department was someone was really qualified. The way they've gone about their business at Brighton Football Club, me and Mr. B and yourself, Rebel, as the assistant, could have managed that team and been quite successful. So it's hard to gauge, isn't it, with Potter? When you got good structure, you put someone in, and everything balances out. I'll give you an example. Like on our Sunday team, if the team I could play my best team against someone who's not so good, another team that I expect to win against. And when I do play like that, I play my best team and I throw in one player that's weaker, I wouldn't really trust. And it doesn't really affect us that much. We can still get the victory despite having 1 week player in the team because we can manage with that, And I think that applies with Potter. It's hard to gauge how good he is based on a good structure at Brighton Football Club. He just has to do the coaching and manage the team. The issue that he did have, which the new manager came in and sort of identified and changed, is they couldn't score goals. They used to dominate play, didn't they, for a long time? They really struggled to score goals. If you look at under Potter, they really couldn't get the goals or finish their dinner. And suddenly Zebi's come in and he's completed everything. He just had something extra about him to get them over the line and start them scoring lots of goals. And no matter how bad it gets with their best players going, you think, oh my God, how can they sell their best players and still compete? They continue to do it because the structure's good. And coach, and they buy get coaching, you can do the job. Potter went to Chelsea and maybe it was too much for him. He wasn't able to achieve anything. But the last English manager to win a league title in this English league, top league, was Howard Wilkinson in 1992 for Leeds United. This is an English league, and not one English manager has won a league title since 1992. That's nearly, 30 years ago? 31 years ago?
32 next year, isn't it?
31 years, 1992. So that's a long time. It wasn't even the Premiership then. And that was Howard Wilkinson, the last English manager to win anything. So based on that as well, I don't think English managers are really doing anything tough. I don't see any. If he's the best of English managers to come through, I'm thinking, not for me. Why can't we get a Zebi in or the next top thing coming out the UEFA school? Because all these guys, they go to UEFA school. All these guys have, if you're coming from Spain or Portugal, you've got a different way of playing. Graham Potter hit the wall because he couldn't score goals, and I think that was a big X marks the spot. That was a big question mark for me with him and flopping at Chelsea as well. No doubt, I think he's a good coach, and I think if Ineos come in and get the structure around him, he might be good at Man United. But the same applies with Southgate. I don't think he's a very good coach. With his club management career, he's got a good structure in England. He's got good players to work with. So people still question him about his ability as a coach. And if I said to you Southgate was coming to Man United tomorrow, people would really think, no, thank you.
On Monday, I suppose we have been talking about takeover, and at this stage, the saga is nearly longer than the longest book in the world. The longest book in the world is a French book that translates as Remembrance of Things Past, that comes in at 1.3 million words. And the takeover now at this stage is exceeding the longest book in the world because it has been rolling and rolling, and we haven't heard any more. We've had rumors of this person pulling out, that person pulling out. Last week there was rumors that the Sir Jim Ratcliffe deal has hit the wall because of various bits and bobs, including a sponsorship deal with a Russian company, which could cause trouble with the English government. But look, these things are rolling and rolling. But what I want to know is, I want to know what the comments are saying, and more importantly, what did they say Mr. B's punishment for being late should be?
That's a long way off. I think they've forgotten about it. Mr. B's distracted them with his expert opinions on other stuff, other issues as well. First of all, Bart saying here, why Dr. Zebi and not Xabi Alonso? You're not at United. You need to manage egos. A lot of the squad idolise him and Gerrard. Bart's a Liverpool fan.
Can I just say something? First things first, Bart. Man United, we don't idolise Liverpool players. So Xabi Alonso's not coming. I know you say a lot of things for wind up. He is doing well. He's doing well over there. But no, let's just get that one. I think we need to just put that one to bed. There was something here that I saw. Oh look, see, blah 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 blah. Where's it gone? Damn. All right, look, it's gone. It'll come back. I'll find it.
All right, let's see if we can find it. Patrick, how you doing? He says, evening, gents. Been supporting the club since 1986, so I've seen lots of ups and downs. However, if Ratcliffe and co replace Eric Ten Hag with Graham Potter, I'm taking a sabbatical. Enough said. So he's not happy with him. Now, did you say hogwash or Hogwarts?
I did say hogwash, but if he wants to interpret it as Hogwarts, by all means, because I did do the Harry Potter joke on FTSN one time when he was still at Chelsea.
Bart saying here, why would Potter want to go into a furnace, replacing Moyes at West Ham, who are close to being bought out by a Czech billionaire? Probably what he's saying would be a better deal. Potter,
I know what I was going to say now.
Go on, let's hear it.
The players at our club have no respect for managers. Unless the manager is backed to get rid of the players that he wants to get rid of, not the club want to get rid of, not the fans don't like, that he wants to get rid of, you've got no chance. You've got no chance. Because we thought the I Spies had left our club in the summer. We thought there was going to be no more leaks, but I Spy is still there. He's still at the club. You know what I mean? Spreading these stories and leaking things to whether it's his girlfriend, boyfriend, or whatever, them, whatever. They're still at the club. So unless they're backed, I'm talking like backed where you can see, all right, then he's coming and he says he wants Marcus Rashford to go, or he wants Bruno Fernandes to go, and the club back him, like the club backed, like Man City backed Pep when Pep came in and kicked out England's first choice goalkeeper. Where's that for England first choice goalkeeper now? He's playing in Celtic that nobody wants. They get, their full stadium and there's 7 fans around the world. You know what I mean? That's his level now. That's the level that he's gone to. So back him. Whoever comes in, let them be backed to clean out the play. Whether we like it or not, there's players that are being played that I don't like, but it's the manager's choice. You have to accept it, rightly or wrongly, but it's his choice. So unless he's back to Monday, I don't think they've got any chance at our club. And you've seen what those players are. They've got a history of it. It's not like it's under one manager. They when they turn.
Poisonous. So Bart's saying here, okay, then when did United hire former Liverpool captain? Oh, Sir Matt Busby, and name the road that the home ground stands on after him as well. So obviously Matt Busby got an association with Liverpool Football Club. Yeah, that was a long time ago. And can I just say something about the Liverpool Man United relationship? It's not as bad. It wasn't as bad as the people think. Like you said, I mean, Bart's just highlighted here what was going on between the clubs. We've helped each other out. Remember, after Munich '68, Liverpool Football Club tried to help us out as well. So it's only in recent years, I think, since Fergie came in and sort of said we need to overtake them or whatever, that it's really got heated in that respect, I believe. But there's been a lot of respect between the two clubs over the years. Big T is saying here, do we want a manager that can develop young players and make them names, or do we want to keep buying big names with big egos and wages? Ain't the point we're supposed to be changing? Asking good questions. We deserve better. Jim saying, put the Man United back in Man United. Sorry, go on. Should we go back to this one?
No, I get that. No, I agree. I agree with what you said, but it's a fan's in ignorance. Maybe Potter might come in and be the best thing that happened to Man United, you know, but his CV doesn't say that. That's all.
Okay, so Jim, sorry, we preserve better saying Jim saying put the Manchester back in Man United has fueled all these English links with players and managers. That's from Jim Ratcliffe. Oh, I didn't realise that was good. I didn't know that. The media is only Sky Sports news and them idiot journos. Potter is fake news. There hasn't even been any takeover updates. That's from Surrey Media House. Stephanie saying Potter being mentioned because he's available and United don't want another interim manager. Interim maybe. Speculation journalism at its finest. Big T saying here, Omondi. So was Ten Hag only good at Ajax because they have a good structure? Good question. Good question. Yeah, I can't answer that just now. Very good question. You put me on the spot there. Black Bolt saying here, as someone said earlier, this team needs Harry Potter instead of Graham Potter. Oh dear, oh dear. Why, Dr. Zebby? Oh, we touched on that. Sorry. Now this one's for you, Mr. B. Patrick's named you. He said, agree with Mr. B on the underlying hate towards Eric Ten Hag. He's essentially been in the job for 16 months. Klopp lost 3 consecutive cup finals. On path to success isn't always a straight line. Path to success isn't always a straight upward line. Great point. Great point. Stephanie, you got even great.
I agreed.
Let's get 20 likes. Yeah, you agree with this. He's backing you. Patrick is backing you with your point there. Well said, Mr. B. Mr. B, turning up late, you sort of saved yourself with your wise man comments. Can we look at that beard, please? The grey wise beard. You've really, honestly, you made a really good point today.
Monday,
you've recovered from getting a forfeit.
I do have a few forfeit suggestions though. People who arrive late should leave late, i.e. Mr. B, long stream tonight, is it? Black Bolt saying Mr. B, formerly known as Paul Labille Pogba.
For being late.
Bart saying he should wear a Liverpool shirt during the watch along on Sunday.
Oh God, no, we can't have that.
Andrew Williams is saying he needs to French kiss one of Omondi's dogs.
Andrew's just left the building, by the way. Thank God for that, because you would have been getting cuffed out right now.
Maddie Bass is saying Mr. B is already getting punished enough by having to do the watch along on Sunday.
There you go. There you go. I'm yes, you know, yeah. Here. I'll do the I'll take the watch along as my punishment. Do you know what though?
That's a good one.
I'm a glutton, you know, Monday, because I cuss them and I hate them, and I will still sit down in front of the screen like some dickhead, so these people can see me cuss. So you know, I'm hoping it's a quiet one. I'm not expecting any miracles, but yeah, as long as you look coming in half time and give me my little break, I'm fine.
And as you know, Vincent's jumped on board with this. I think Mr. B Beast should wear a t-shirt saying I love broccoli more than I love bread. He should be my family actually, but yeah. I'm gonna allow him to be with the forfeit. He may come back with thing. The forfeit will be having to do the watch along. I agree with that.
Well,
Jesus
gentlemen,
Christ, man.
We've hit 5 topics as we tend to do now on a Thursday night. The lucky bag that is the tabloid media is what we seem to be going with, and we'll probably return with next Thursday. However, tomorrow we will have Manchester United versus Liverpool, the preview. God help us all in regards to who's actually available, because I did show Mr. B the injury list earlier. Are we having a Friday night takeaway later on Friday?
Yeah. They'll be there will 100% be a takeaway. I think there's 4 of us on there so far. So yeah, we're definitely having a takeaway tomorrow.
I've got a special guest tomorrow, a Liverpool fan coming on for the preview. I don't want him to wind us up, but he's coming on, and yeah, we'll see how that goes. But I'll surprise you tomorrow. So make sure you tune in for the preview tomorrow. We've got a special guest coming on.
We have the power to cut him off. We have
to mute him if he goes. Yeah, we can do that. Definitely. All right. Yeah. I'm good.
But then, of course, Watch Along is on Sunday, and I will be back again sometime next Monday, and we will come into that Christmas week. I am going to put something out there. If you are reviewing the season so far, please tell us who you think Manchester United's most influential player since the start of the season till December was, and we might pick up the percentages on one of the shows next week. But that is it from the Man
You know what?
United agenda.
I like that one.
That's good.
Thank you all for your comments. We will be seeing you again tomorrow night. But for now, hasta la vista.
Big up.